Good afternoon. Today we are continuing on with this unit with CO65. I can measure, draw, and classify angles using a protractor. So we have our handy dandy protractors. We don't need one from home because we only use it for this objective. So that's why I have the class set. If you have one that's your own, you can certainly use that. I'm going to be going through how we use protractors using the class set that I have, because protractors can be slightly different. Yes?
Wait, did you get the test?
Yeah, you'll use this protractor for the test, or if you have one from home. So I'm going to be walking us through using little things that the class protractor has. Like I said, if you have a protractor from home, it might be a little bit different. Remember when I said no protractors in hands? They are down. Don't make me call out your name on the video. Protractors are down until it's time to use them. Okay. So this is a picture of a protractor, like the one that we have from the classroom. You can see there's that hole in the middle here. Okay. We're going to be using that. If you have one from home, sometimes protractors don't have that hole in there. So I just know that I'm going to be teaching us using this specific protractor. So we'll notice that there are two sets of numbers. The numbers on the inside start with that 0 over on the right. On my protractor, there's not an actual 0 listed on it, but I can see the 10. Okay, so mine doesn't have the 0 right there. We just know that the 0 is there. It's just they've got the ruler on the bottom and they didn't want to put that 0 in with the ruler. Okay, so just know that the 0 would be on the inside, because then it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way up to 180. So on the outside, our 0 is over on the left, and it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, and it goes the opposite direction. We're going to be talking about when you use the different sets of numbers. Okay? So it matters. Remember when I said details in the last few units we had were, oh my goodness, we really had to pay attention to the positives and negatives. Am I adding, am I subtracting? Oh, there's a lot of details. And I said, this unit isn't quite so intense with the details, but there are details that matter. Victoria. Just put it on my desk. Thank you. All right, so there are angles can go in two different directions. Sometimes our angles open to the left, sometimes the angles open to the right. That's why we have numbers going in different directions. It depends on which way your angle is opening up. So when we get to it, I'm going to show you how you know which set of numbers to use. But first, we're going to go through some vocab words. There is the vertex of an angle, which is the point where the two sides of an angle meet. So when we look at that angle, we've got one side, we've got the other side. That point where they meet, that is called the vertex. So the point where the two sides meet. We have an acute angle. Anybody remember that name? What is an acute angle? Colin. An angle that measures less than 90 degrees. So if you think about it, it's the cute little angles. It's so cute and little. Oh, that's the acute angle, less than 90 degrees. So when I look at my hand, when my thumb goes straight out and my pointer finger goes straight up, that would be a right angle. Acute angles are smaller than it. Okay. So an example, we know that, well, from what I just said, a right angle is the straight up, straight down. So any angle that is smaller than that right angle. So an acute angle is going to be smaller than 90 degrees. Smaller than that straight up and straight across. Then we have the right angle. If you were paying attention to what I just said, what do you think a right angle is? Ellie?
An angle that's 90 degrees.
An angle that measures exactly 90 degrees. And it can only be 90 degrees. An angle that measures equal to 90 degrees. So that 90 degree angle goes straight down, straight across. And we know it's a 90 degree angle when it either has 90 degrees written in for the measurement, or you see a little box. That little box tells us 90 degrees without having to write 90 degrees for that measurement. If you see the box, it means 90, and it matters. Okay. So just because the number isn't written there, anytime you see that box, you need to know that it's 90 degrees. Then we have an obtuse angle. What would an obtuse angle be? Laurel?
An angle that measures more than 90 degrees.
An angle that measures greater than 90 degrees. So, if this is what our 90 degree angle looks like, our obtuse angle is going to be bigger than it, right? So when you look with your fingers, we know 90 degrees is that straight up and down, acute is smaller, obtuse is stretching out your fingers, bigger than 90 degrees. So if you're stretching it out to make it look like that angle, it is going to be obtuse. Any questions on those three types of angles? Now, in Math 6, when we were learning about it, we also learned about this angle. That looks like a straight line. So we call it a straight angle. And the straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. A straight line is two right angles, right? 90 degrees plus 90 degrees is 180. So if we had continued that, we would have one right angle on the right and another one on the left. So a straight line, we know, is two right angles, so it would have to be 180 degrees. Not on our objective, but it's a good fact for us to know. Okay. Straight line is a straight angle, it is 180 degrees. All right, now, some of us have used protractors before and we know how to use it. A lot of us are like, ooh, I've seen this before. I had kind of struggled with it last year. I want us to really pay attention to how we use a protractor. So, remember when I said the one that we use here in the classroom has a hole in it? That hole, you're going to put right over the vertex. And then you'll see there's that straight line that goes through the hole. We're going to line that up on the line of that bottom part of your angle, line it up straight on top of it. So the vertex goes in the hole, and you're going to match up that straight line coming out of the hole, match it up with the line on the bottom part of the angle. Now, when you look at that, you can see where that angle is going to. That bottom line, you're going to continue it until you hit the 0. So on this one, on your page, that bottom line goes to the 0. Is that 0 on the inside or the outside of the protractor? Where do we see the 0? On your paper. Where do you see the 0? Is that the inside numbers or the outside numbers? Madeline? The outside numbers. So if you're holding your protractor, that line extends to the left, and we see the 0 on the left side. That means we're going to use the numbers on the outside. So there are numbers that are on the inside, and that 0 is over here. We don't want to use the inside numbers. We always want to start with the 0. So if the 0 is on the outside, you use all the numbers on the outside. And you're going to follow it up until you hit that top line of the angle. Now, sometimes that line doesn't go all the way to where the numbers are. So you have to extend that angle out, up, so you can see what number it hits. So if we extend that line up, we see it hits at between the 40 and the 50. What is right in the middle of 40 and 50, Joe?
45 degrees.
45. So that angle measurement is 45 degrees. Then it says, what's its classification? What name do we give it? Think back to the first page. What name would a 45-degree angle have, Bo?
Acute.
Acute. It's a cute little angle, smaller than 90 degrees. Here's the trick to know, did I use the right numbers on my protractor? Always look to see. You can visually see that is smaller than 90 degrees, right? It's acute. It's little. So my degree measurement shouldn't be 100 and something, right? That's how we know if we're using the right numbers. If your number, your measurement is an obtuse measurement, but you look at it and it's cute and little, you use the wrong set of numbers. So do that double check. Does your degrees match your classification? Any questions? Let's look at this first angle. I want you to match it up, put the vertex in the hole, line up that line coming out of the vertex straight over that angle line. Then you're going to follow the top line of the angle up. What measurement do you think it is? Write it on your paper. And then classify it. So you're going to write the measure and you're going to classify. Don't be one of those friends that only does one part. Always, always, always read the directions. Spoiler, that's going to be on the test. You're going to have to do both. Don't lose out on points and have to retake it because you forget to classify it. Always read the directions. What did we get as our measurement? What did you get, Grayson? What did you get, Emily? What did you get, Grace? What did you get? Okay, so one thing that I'm noticing is causing us a little trouble. What do you think is causing us some trouble? Oh, Finley, what's the problem? The binder rings are kind of getting in the way, and it's kind of hard to line it up right. Ellie, what did you do to help yourself?
I took it off the ring.
You can take it out of the rings. Go ahead and take it out. I forget because on the smart board I don't have those rings getting in the way. Some of us figured it out. I see some of us have it out of our binder. Take it out of your binder. Everybody, take it out of your binder so we can get a more accurate measurement. And I really want us taking it out so we can measure it. I see some 50s, I see a 52. Now that it's out of the binder, what are you getting, Grace? Yeah, so it makes a difference. Joe, what did you get?
52.
Okay,
I got
I want you to look at it. What did you get? You have to make sure it's right on top of that vertex. You got it over to you. So you want to be able to put it so that it's right in the middle. So I, using that, it's so some of us. Yep. So here's the thing. I'm seeing 48s, 50, 51, and 52. Did anybody get a different measurement than that? Okay. So when I measured it, I got a 50 degrees. Do you think if you wrote down 52 degrees, I would mark that wrong? No, because it's not exactly precise. It's just sometimes it looks a little off. I was looking at Laurel's and using hers. When I measured it, it looked like 48 degrees. I would be fine with that. In the book here, I have 48 degrees. But when I measured it on the smart board, it looked like 50. If you are off by a couple degrees, it's going to be okay. But if you are off by more than that, then I'm going to mark it wrong. You have to make sure you're lining up that vertex of your angle right in the middle. You're lining up your line right over the line of the angle. Okay. You can be off by 2 or 3 degrees. I don't want us off by more than that. Does that make sense? So I'll give you credit if it's really close. Doesn't have to be exact. Am I done?
No.
Why not, Henry?
You have to classify it.
I have to classify it. If it's 50 degrees and I can see that it's definitely less than 90 degrees, what do I call it, Holland? It is an acute angle. So that's my checkpoint. If I had lined this up and I said, okay, there's my line, and that is 135 degrees. Oops, let me take this off the smart board. If I said it was 135 degrees because I used the outside numbers by mistake, but then I say, oh, look at how cute and little is it's acute. Does acute match up with 135 degrees?
No.
No, that's my checkpoint. Did I use the right numbers? If your degree doesn't match with the classification, go back and use the other set of numbers. Any questions on that? Okay, let me scroll up. We have some other angles to measure. But then on the bottom it says, use your protractor and draw 2 different sets of angles. Let me show you how we do that. I know you can measure those other angles by yourself. First, give yourself a point. We're going to use that point as our vertex. Then you're going to use your protractor to draw that bottom line. So you get a straight line. It's a little difficult for me up here on the smartboard. So I'm going to use this as a ruler. Okay. So now that you have your bottom line, you've got your vertex, you're going to put your protractor, match up that hole with that line. And then if I want to draw that 30-degree angle, I'm going to look to see where is that 30 degrees right there. It's hard for me to do on the board. I put a little mark where the 30 degrees is. Then I pick up my protractor and I draw that straight line, connecting it to that vertex. Does that make sense? So draw a point, then use your protractor to draw the straight line for the bottom part of your angle. Then match up your protractor with the vertex in the hole, that line over your bottom line, put a little mark at where 30 degrees is, and then pick up your protractor and connect that mark with your vertex. Then, what I want you to do is I want you to label it 30 degrees, because we are drawing two different angles. Tell me which one's the 30 degrees and which one is the 110 degrees. So you're going to do the same thing with the you're going to do a different one. Draw your vertex, draw your line, make it 110 degrees. Do you think it matters which direction your angle is pointing?
No.
No. I'm looking that it's 30 degrees. You could have it going either way. Should you freehand it? No.
No.
Like I just drew this, I call that freehand because I didn't use the protractor. No, I am going to take a protractor on the test and I'm going to check to make sure that it's actually 30 degrees. And it needs to be close. If you just draw it like I did down here, there's a good chance you're going to be off by more than 3 degrees and then you won't get credit for it. The whole point is knowing how to draw a more precise angle instead of just guessing. Joe?
Should we classify it?
For this one, it doesn't say to classify it, but you can think to yourself, 30 degrees would be acute, it's got to be little. Okay? If it doesn't say to classify it, you don't have to. Any questions? When you are done, you're going to put your protractor back in the container at the back. Oh, wait. I'm still filming, recording. Okay, so please just wait. I don't want all the chair noise. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well. And I hope to see you soon. Make sure to ask if you have questions.